Ambassador Zektar's mandibles clicked nervously as he watched the human delegation disembark from their transport shuttle. The Velnathi had been dreading this moment for cycles, the first diplomatic mission to Velnath Prime, their homeworld. Not because they feared war or political complications, but because of what lurked in their planet's wilderness. "Are you certain about this?" His aide, Melkara, whispered through their translator device. "The Thornback Ravagers have been particularly aggressive this season. 3 of our own exploratory teams were lost just last orbital period." Zektar's 4 eyes focused on the human leader, a female called Ambassador Chen, according to their files. She appeared impossibly fragile, her pale skin unmarked by the chitinous armor that protected Velnathi from their world's dangers. Her companions were equally soft-looking, lacking claws, natural weapons, or the reinforced exoskeletons that evolution had granted more sensible species. "Protocol demands we show them our world," Zektar replied, though his voice carried little confidence. "Perhaps we can keep them to the safe zones." The humans had requested a full cultural exchange, which traditionally included experiencing a planet's natural environment. For most civilized species, this meant carefully maintained parks and controlled wilderness reserves. For Velnath Prime, it meant entering domains where nightmares bred and hunted. Ambassador Chen approached with what humans called a smile, a peculiar bearing of small, flat teeth that somehow indicated friendliness rather than aggression. "Ambassador Zektar," she said, extending her hand in the human greeting ritual. "Thank you for hosting us. We're particularly excited to experience your planet's renowned biodiversity." Zektar gingerly touched her soft appendage, marveling at how anything so vulnerable had survived to evolve intelligence. "Of course. We have prepared safe viewing areas for your delegation." "Actually," Chen's smile widened, "we were hoping for something more immersive. Your wildlife documentaries fascinated our xenobiologists, particularly the segments about your apex predators." The Velnathi delegation exchanged horrified glances. Their apex predators were the stuff of evolutionary nightmares, creatures so terrifying that Velnathi civilization had developed primarily in underground cities to avoid them. "With respect, Ambassador Chen," Zektar's voice quavered, "our predators are perhaps too dangerous for your species. The Thornback Ravagers alone have killed more Velnathi than the plague wars of the 3rd millennium." Chen's expression shifted to something the humans called curiosity, though to Velnathi eyes, it looked disturbingly similar to predatory interest. "Thornback Ravagers? The 12-foot armored quadrupeds with the neurotoxic spine launchers? Oh, we definitely need to see those." 2 days later, Zektar found himself in the wilderness observation bunker, watching in growing disbelief as the human team set up their camp. They had insisted on staying in the deep forest, in territory where even military patrols feared to venture. Their shelter was nothing more than thin fabric stretched over metal poles, protection that wouldn't stop a larvae, let alone a fully grown predator. "Sir," Melkara's voice was tight with panic, "motion sensors detect a pack of Shadowfangs approaching from the east, at least 8 adults." Shadowfangs were ambush predators the size of small vehicles, capable of phasing partially out of the visible spectrum. Their pack-hunting intelligence made them one of the few creatures that actively sought out Velnathi settlements. "Alert the humans immediately," Zektar commanded. But before his aide could activate the communication array, something extraordinary happened. The human called Jackson, apparently their security specialist, had already noticed the approaching predators. Instead of panic or retreat, he calmly reached into his pack and withdrew what appeared to be a primitive projectile weapon. The other humans continued their activities with the casual indifference of creatures that had never known fear. The first Shadowfang materialized from its phase state directly behind the human female scientist, Dr. Yamoto. Its jaws, capable of crushing reinforced steel, opened wide enough to swallow her whole. Jackson's weapon made a sharp cracking sound. The Shadowfang collapsed, dark blood pooling beneath its massive head. The Pax Alpha, larger than the others, roared its challenge and charged directly at the human camp. What followed defied everything Zektar understood about natural order. The humans didn't flee. They didn't seek shelter or call for evacuation. Instead, they moved with a coordinated precision that spoke of countless such encounters. Jackson's weapon barked repeatedly, each shot finding vital spots with surgical accuracy. Dr. Yamato produced a device that emitted focused electromagnetic pulses, disrupting the Shadow Fang's phase-shifting abilities. Ambassador Chen herself wielded some sort of chemical spray that sent the predators into convulsions. Within minutes, 8 apex predators lay dead around the human camp. Fascinating, Dr. Yamato said, kneeling beside one of the corpses. The musculature suggests they're ambush specialists, probably evolved to take down large herbivores with a single strike. She looked up at her companions. Anyone else getting hungry? These haunches look promising. Zektar's translator device must have malfunctioned. It sounded like the human had just suggested eating the Shadow Fang. An hour later, his translator proved to be working perfectly. The humans had field-dressed 3 of the Shadow Fangs with tools that appeared designed specifically for butchering large predators. They built a fire, apparently unafraid of attracting more dangerous creatures, and began cooking portions of meat over the flames. My gods, Melkara whispered. They're actually eating them. The smell of cooking Shadow Fang attracted exactly what Zektar had feared, a thornback ravager, drawn by the scent of dead pack hunters. The massive creature emerged from the forest like a living siege engine, its armored carapace scarred by centuries of battles. Neurotoxic spines bristled along its back, each one capable of dropping a Velnathi at 100 meters. Jackson looked up from his meal, sighed with what sounded like mild annoyance, and reached for a different weapon, something much larger than his previous gun. The thornback ravager charged with the force of a landslide. Jackson's weapon roared with a sound like thunder. The creature's armored head exploded in a spray of chitin and dark fluid, its massive body skidding to a halt mere meters from the human camp. Well, Ambassador Chen said, taking another bite of roasted Shadow Fang, looks like we have dessert sorted as well. Over the following days, Zektar watched in mounting amazement as the humans systematically hunted and consumed every apex predator in the region. Creatures that had haunted Velnathi nightmares for millennia fell to human weapons, ingenuity, and what appeared to be an almost casual disregard for their own mortality. The humans didn't just kill these predators, they studied them, cataloged them, and then cooked them into meals that they pronounced delicious or a bit gamey, but not bad with the right seasonings. On their final night, as the humans prepared to return to their ship, Ambassador Chen approached the observation bunker where Zektar had spent most of the week in stunned silence. Thank you for hosting us, Ambassador, she said. Your planet's ecosystem is remarkable. We particularly enjoyed the variety of proteins available. Proteins? Zektar managed. The local wildlife. Though I have to say the thornback ravager steaks were probably the highlight. Our ship's chef wants to know if you'd consider establishing a hunting preserve for human tourists. Zektar stared at her, then at the forest where his planet's most feared predators had once ruled unchallenged. You want to come back? Chen's smile returned, and this time Zektar finally understood what it truly meant. It wasn't friendliness at all. It was the expression of a predator so apex that it had transcended the need to appear threatening. Oh yes, she said. Earth's cuisine scene is always looking for new flavors. As the human shuttle disappeared into the night sky, Zektar realized that his people's greatest fears had just become someone else's menu items. He wondered, not for the first time, how humanity had ever convinced the galaxy they were a peaceful species. In the forest, for the first time in recorded history, silence reigned. The apex predators of Velnath Prime were either dead or had learned, with the rapid adaptability that had once made them so dangerous, that there were hunters in the galaxy far more terrifying than anything their world had ever produced, and those hunters thought they tasted good with barbecue sauce.